Mm. Hey y'all, good morning. Listen, y'all, I just realized I have gum in my mouth, so give me a second to get this gum out. How is everybody doing this morning? I hope you all are doing great. I did get a chance to watch quite a few interviews, but right now, today, at this particular time, I just want to really focus on the Chris and the Huda interview that Huda did with Call Her Daddy. And then also we had Chris who sat over there with Nick. Okay. Can I say that can somebody explain to me why Nick needed I'm sorry, not Nick, but Chris. Can somebody explain to me why Chris needed an interview over an hour? Anybody wanna don't nobody know. Okay. I'm like, girl, I don't even think Taylor and Clarke got that long, did they? Girl, I need to check because I'm like, Taylor and Clarke, I feel like their interview was like less than 40 minutes. So maybe I'm tripping. Cause I'm like, he wasn't even there that long. Now, Huda's interview being as long as it was, I kind of understood it. Huda is a talker. Huda talk a lot, right? When you are interviewing, that's actually kind of a good thing, because you want people that's gonna be running their mouth. Okay. They're going to say a lot of stuff and it's going to help you build more questions, as they're talking. Like, okay, well, let me ask you this today. You able to clock some things because they talking too much. Am I freezing, y'all? I'm so sorry. I'm not sure what's happening. Am I freezing for everybody? I hope not. Now, I will say, excuse me, y'all. Sometimes YouTube will act funny and it will skip. So if you need to go out of the app and come back, especially on my premieres, I'm always having issues and people think it's my computer and you guys have to exit, which is so weird. I don't know. YouTube need to get it together. You have to go completely out of the app. Sometimes just the video, other times like completely out of the app and then come back in. Okay, so you guys are good. Okay, okay, thank you guys. Um, but yeah, what was I saying? I think I was talking about the interview. I was talking about Huda and how Huda talks a lot and how it's kind of a good thing if you're interviewing, you know what I'm saying? Helps you build your questions and stuff like that. And with the host, and I don't know her name, call her daddy. You guys can leave it in the comments. The host of that podcast, um, I like that she kind of stayed on Huda, but then I also felt like she created stuff in her head. She created things in her head about stuff, and I'm like, are you okay? Because that's not necessarily how that happened. But let me go ahead and get my notes up. I also want to say, Alex, that's her name. I also want to say that with Chris's interview, y'all, I don't even think I didn't take a lot of notes with Chris for real. Chris is boring. I'm so sorry. I would chew me up later, girl. Chew me up later. Okay. Shout out to the 100+ people we have in the chat. If we could get 100 likes, that'll be great. So if you guys can pull out your devices, just slide over and go ahead and hit the like button. That would help me out a lot, please and thank you. But Chris, I don't. Girl, actually, I think I took quite a bit of notes from Chris. Girl, why I'm over here thinking I ain't taking that from Chris? Girl, not me saying that man boring, but I took all these notes. Oops. My bad. Let's just hop right on into it. Oh, first things first. How many of y'all let me see. Did you guys watch this interview for yourself? Put like a red heart or something in the chat to let me know if you guys watch these interviews yourself or if you was just like, oh no, I ain't watching that. I was just gonna wait for you to recap it. Let me know in the comments how many of you guys watch this. Oh, and well, I'll do that when I talk about the I'm gonna do Pepe and Iris because I got something misconstrued when I watched one of his interviews, and we'll talk about that when I cover their interview in a separate video. Okay, so a few of y'all did watch it. What y'all make this dangerous? Devonta, Devonta. Y'all made this dangerous woman famous, girl. And let me tell y'all, in my personal, right? And I be trying to see the best in people too. I think that Huda may have some great things about her that may be enjoyable to be around at times. But what I will say is the way this fan base has propped her up to make her feel like everything she did was justified is insane to me. Okay. And the host clocked her. And I said, I'm with BIT. I'm with you there. I'm with you on that little piece right there, ma'am. Okay. And I like a fair host like that too. Okay. But it was some stuff I was like, girl, what you talking about? Anywho, so let's get into it. Not the hell no. Okay, so let's talk about Chris's interview first. So he does talk about being an avoidant and not liking to argue and much rather have a regular conversation and hear each other out. That is the grown up way to do things. Now, I do not know for sure, but I need to find out how old is Huda. What is her? Oh, she's 24 years of age. Okay, she do have some more growing up to do, right? And I know that's something a lot of people gonna say, well, Jamie, she young, she got a lot of, she gonna get there and whatever. She is definitely gonna get there. And I need y'all to understand the going to get there part because she definitely not there now. And the reason a lot of people are hard on her, right, is because of not just her actions, but she said that she was like emotionally mature because I'm a mom. Remember? And it did not show up that way. Like Ace, I believe, may be a bit younger than her. And although Ace gave us some hope, I feel like Ace showed himself to be a bit more mature. Okay, at times. So there's that. But let's keep going. So he talks about falling back on Chelley because he wanted to respect how Ace was pursuing her and he had Huda interested in him. So it was like, let me go and get to know Huda versus keep trying to go after somebody that's not really giving me the same type of energy. Um, yeah. I don't even know. I feel like if you wanted to respect Ace's connection with Chelley, you would have never came over to the villa, right? You would have never came over. You would have respected it from what you've already seen on the show. And you would have probably just let it rock out. But you wanted to come back to the villa. You wanted to pursue her. And when she wasn't giving you that energy, you decided to fall back on Huda. Now, I do believe he would have went for Amaya. I definitely believe Chris would have wholeheartedly went for Amaya because I remember he was talking to what's Nick's lookalike name? Elin or something like that. And he was like, man, Amaya's so bad. So I think he definitely would have tried to go after her. But can I say, I don't know if I mentioned this earlier on, y'all, but I really feel like Chris tried to take the high road when he discussed Huda in this interview. I don't know when they filmed their interviews, but I really feel like he tried to take the high road and not like play her out and say nothing like too negative. Meanwhile, Huda didn't give a damn. What is that? I don't know what the hell you talking about. I'm finna say what the fuck it is. I gotta say, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna let it be what it is. Now, I'm not saying he should have chose violence, but at the same time, you did tell her you weren't carrying her, so I don't know why you carried her in that interview. Let's keep going. So Chris says that Huda brought it to his attention that her and Chelley had a plan to bring him back. When he first heard it, he said that he wasn't sure, but then says that the plan was to come back for Chelley, but Huda was also interested in him, right? So he said that he was going to be open to getting to know her as well because they did have times in Casa Amor where things were cool. He thought she was kind of funny or whatever. So, and he also knew she didn't have no connections. What I hear is, that that's a layup for you to get into the villa because she was gonna keep you safe. So I feel like when they try to have the conversations of I wasn't trying to get back to the villa. I wasn't trying to stay long. And I hate when people say those things when they're like, oh, I thought about leaving early or I didn't want to stay. Like you could have left. You could have left. And because you chose the option to not leave, then you chose the option to hang on to get that extra screen time, especially when we learn about the things that Chris wants to do, right? He wants to get into acting. He wants to do things that's going to continue to put him in the forefront. So it was a scheme that you was with too while you got your ass up there on that stand on the business challenge and you tried to make it seem as though it was Chelley. Like it was Chelley's plan. Y'all remember that? Because I remember talking about it in my review. I said, wait a minute, this don't sound right. So it was a plan that Chelley came up with. Like what's happening the whole time when Huda talked about it, it was really Huda's plan. But he gonna stand his ass up there and make it seem like it was Chelley's plan. But either way, it was what it was because it seemed like production had already made the decision that everybody in Casa was gonna come back anyway. So whatever. He also says that he saw a better version of Huda versus how she was with Jeremiah because he and Jeremiah are two different men. So he got a different type of reaction out of her. But can I also say, in Huda's interview, she says, "You'll know when I like you. Like, you'll know when I like a guy. Like, there's going to be a complete difference in a guy that I'm into versus a guy that I'm not." And I feel like a lot of us, Clarke did accordingly when we said that she was not into Chris. Because if she was, we would have honestly, in my opinion, I think we would have got a similar Huda. Not so much as the Huda that would have crashed out, but the Huda that's clinging. The Huda that would not have cared about the Islanders and would have wanted to kiss on that guy. Chris just made it easy because he wasn't what she was interested in. And then she tried to blame it on more so how the Islanders were viewing her. And that just, I'm sorry, y'all, that's never going to click for me. Because how do you have SEA? I don't care. Like, that is so weird to say under the covers is private. Get somebody under the covers is private when you have a whole room of people is insane. That's like, no, girl, that's no. Y'all was hunching in public. It's not making sense. Like, that's just what that is, okay? Um, so yeah, I feel like if she was really attracted to him, it'll be the same shit. So oh, he was asked about what really made him connect to her and like her. She talked about being a mom and a single mom at that, because I believe he said that his mom was a single mom. He has a lot of sisters, but the sister that we saw him come with his mom was his oldest sister. The other sister that got online and started to pretty much kind of snap off and told Huda that she need to pay attention when a real coming through or something like that or whatever she said. That's a sister that his dad, by his dad. So he thinks that the stand on business challenge also made him closer with Huda as well, because he felt like she was being ganged up on and he was going to stand up for her. I'm trying to see, was Huda really ganged up on? I mean, I don't really think that she was ganged. Amaya was ganged up on, in my opinion. Y'all let me know. I feel like Amaya was ganged up on, but I don't feel like Huda was really ganged up on. I just felt like they just called her to the carpet about stuff, like, because she was doing things sneaky. Like, you like to do stuff and then get under the covers and whisper, "Don't tell anybody, don't say anything, don't tell anybody, don't say anything, don't don't be quiet about that. I'm the one that wrote that letter." And you sitting over here talking about she was ganged up on the whole time. She writing some shade over there to Pepe and Iris. I'm sorry, not Iris, but Pepe and Grayson. And didn't want to stand in her SHI and stand on business and say she was the one that wrote it, but then wanted to play the victim when everybody else was calling her out for her stuff. Okay. So what else? So Chris says he just at this point with where they no, let me go back. He did say that compatibility and the difference that they have in love languages is the reason why things took a turn for them. Okay. I mean, in addition to the fact that she really wasn't attracted to you, like, you really weren't her type, she still honestly, wholeheartedly, in my opinion, was stuck on Jeremiah. There was another interview that she did actually, and I should have went to that one. So am I gonna remember to go to that? Okay. Maybe it's in that other section. But anywho, there was another interview that she did where she talked about whether she was going to reach out to Jeremiah. And Huda was like, "No, I'm not. I saw some things that he said about me outside the villa." So for me, that means you had intentions on reaching out. However, you didn't like what you were seeing. I saw the thing that he said to Castaneda about me. I think a lot of people sent things to her DMs or added her. So she had a lot of things at her fingertips. But I think her intention was to reach out. I don't think she was over Jeremiah at all. But yeah, so he said that's where things took a turn with their relationship. And that's partly why love languages was tough. Even though I feel like you can have difference in love languages, people just got to meet you where you are with what your love language is, right? That doesn't have to be that big of a deal. But if you're not actually into a person, but you need to get that itch scratched, you're going to get that itch scratched. And that's what she did. Okay. And he was good for the pipe, and that was it. And to keep the people in the game. That's the other part for me. Y'all wasted people's time. But anywho, so He also says that he and Huda are cool. He says they're cool despite him not carrying her after that final date. And right now he feels like he just wants to be friends with them. I mean, with her, he just wants them to be friends, and he's not trying to pursue anything beyond that. Like that whole moment between them is dead. Okay, so Chris says that Huda didn't do anything wrong in the heart rate challenge. That is according to Chris, which is very interesting with how he ended it as well. He says she didn't do anything wrong because before the challenge, everybody was like, "Are y'all comfortable? Y'all okay with this? Does anybody have any boundaries? Do y'all want to? What is it that people can't do?" Right? And so he says they should have spoke up if they were going to, be feeling away. So in his eyes, he felt like she didn't do anything wrong and nobody set boundaries, right? So the host mentioned Huda sitting on Ace's face, right? And of course, they started laughing about this, but Chris does confirm that Huda did sit on that man's face. And I had been said that. I said that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Because what we saw, to me, I didn't think she was doing too much from what we saw. But when you see the reaction, and this is the issue I have, with some of the viewers, it's like they only look at Chelley's reaction, but honestly, everybody in the villa, even Andrina, everybody said no. Somebody put it in my comments. Andreina. I think that's how they said it. So I'm gonna say Andre, girl. Shout out to Tammy Talks, girl. It's giving Andre. But for her, even she said it. Everybody said it. So it wasn't just Chelley that felt like Huda did too much. Like they knew that you were gonna do some things to get the heart rate up and stuff like that. But she also went longer than the beat. Like the beat cut off. Okay, the beat is gone. The beat, that means time's up. That means tap out. But you kept tapping that cootie twat on that man's head. Okay, and that's what we have a problem. Cause see, that's what you're doing too damn much. Okay, you're doing too much. The beat is stopped. Get up, stand up. Okay, so I feel like that's my issue with the people. They only look at it as Chelley being the problem, and like, listen, everybody said that she was doing too much, and this is really the fourth person to confirm because Andreina said she was doing too much. Clarke and Taylor pretty much confirmed that she did sit on his face, and then Chris just confirmed it as well. That's four people. Even though Huda does go on to do her interview and doesn't necessarily say that that's what she did, and we'll talk about that. So, Chris was asked about him telling her he's not carrying her. And remember, I was like, yo, y'all, did something happen when he walked back to grab her hand? Was something said to where he like shrugged his shoulders and was like, oh, okay, and just walked off on her? Cause what? So he says things that Huda said was making him think that she ain't like him at all. Like, I don't like when you do this, and I don't like that about you, and I don't like this, and I don't like that, and nope, don't like this, nope, this, that, boo, 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 boo. And I'm like, well, we already saw it. You knew what was going on, and you knew that she didn't really like you for real, for real. I feel like he knew that. I feel like he learned that quickly, that she didn't like him. However, I feel like they connected with each other because Huda probably didn't have nobody in the villa that was really rocking with her for real. Right? I mean, the girls weren't talking to her, but it also was given a situation that Huda was getting on their nerves for a long time. So ain't nobody really stunned her. So I feel like because she didn't have, I guess, friends or whatever in the villa, that's what really drew them closer. But she was never really, it wasn't there. So anywho, he says he didn't feel obligated to carry her, okay? Because you're not my girl. Like, we've made a decision on what it is that we're doing. It's not that, you know what I'm saying? So no, I'm not finna carry you. It's just not finna go down. But what I will do is I'll walk with you. I'll come back and get you, and we can walk together out of here, right? And he said she didn't want to do that. So that's when he walked off. And I said, okay, she must have said no thank you or something. So I don't know. But that's that. Chris says that they were told. So he gets into the story about when they were in the bed, like with the final night. And they said, hey guys, y'all only gonna get like 2 or 3 hours of sleep tonight. That's what Chris said production told him. Okay. And Huda, he said, I want to be very clear that this wasn't about cuddling. This was about getting active, meaning she wanted to have sex. Okay. Period. All right. And he was just like, one, I'm tired. You already know that we don't get that many hours of sleep. So please don't bother me. All right. In addition to that, you don't want to have PDA but you want to get PDA? Oh, hell no. We not doing that tonight. So he was not rocking with it. Okay. Um, so that's that. All right. Well, and then he was like confused, like, why are you giving me a countdown? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm your child or something. Like, what is that all about? And I said, and here we are, where she continues to talk about how she's changed. And for me, I just don't see that completely when you're doing the same things, because it wasn't even just the countdown that happened at the time. It was also, well, if you're going to act like that, then be prepared for how I'm going to treat you on tomorrow type of thing. No, I'm not going to crash out and lash out how I did previously, but and maybe some people may feel like that's growth, right? To them. But what I am going to do, because to me it still gives a bit of immature, right? Because you're not taking this person into consideration and them being tired or whatever, and you're going to still operate in a way to make them feel a way and blatantly ignore them and do all of this or that and make them feel like you mad or whatever. Like, you, that's still immaturity. That's not growth to me. So Chris doesn't like, also he brings up his sister, and I think this was the last note that I took, because Chris was rambling, and I hate when Nick do interviews, to be honest. I watch him, but I have to watch him on a faster speed, because Nick will literally sit up there when he's interviewing and he will give you a paragraph before he really gets to the question. Like, he'll ask you the question, then he'll reiterate something real long and try to relate himself to it before he gets to the question. And it's like, Nick, baby, just is that his wife? Just let her answer. Take a break. Take a break. Take a break. Take a break. Anywho, so this was the last thing I got from Chris. He says that the woman asked if, asked about the sister coming online and her pretty much talking SHI to Huda. Okay, that what I was telling you guys about earlier. He says, I talked to my sister about that. I know my sister is very passionate. We're very close. She loves me down and everything. But I had to talk to her about that and tell her to issue an apology, because, he didn't want whatever she had to say to blow back on him and for people to believe that he supported her actions or even supported the things that she was saying. Right. So he said, that's not my same opinion. I don't share the same opinion as my sister. So I needed her to go back and pretty much apologize. Now, in all honesty, I don't feel like, to me, I've only seen one video. And I'll see if I could probably find it real quick, because if I can, then I could play the audio for you guys. But I just felt like, for me, I don't think it was something that bad that would make her need to apologize. But okay, so here's the apology. So we'll get into that apology too, but let me see if I have the video as well. Let's see. I thought I saved it, but I didn't. Okay. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. But she said something to Huda, like, Huda, you need to do something when a real coming through, or whatever the case was. And so she came out with this statement now, and this is what her apology says. She says, anyone who knows me in real life knows I relate to Huda on 1,000% level. I am big Huda, literally. My post wasn't meant to bash her at all. I was simply sharing my thoughts and talking freely. That said, I do understand that as Chris's sister, not the one who visited the villa, some things are better left unsaid. I genuinely had no idea how invested people were in this show until this season. I hadn't even heard of it before. I didn't realize my words would have had such an impact. So with that, I want to publicly apologize to anyone I may have offended. That was never my intention, and I truly appreciate those who reminded me to approach things with more care and perspective. Okay, so that is what the sister said after Chris had some things to say to her. Okay. So we all know he didn't want that to fall back on him and what he's trying to do in his career and stuff. So he needed her to go ahead and issue that apology. Hey, if she felt, I don't think that it was nothing really to apologize about, really. But okay, if that's how he felt, then that's what happened. She apologized. Cool. So that was pretty much that on Chris's interview. Now, I did watch a sit down interview that Huda did with Access. I believe was it Access Hollywood, but she did one with Access, and then I got into the one that she did with Call Her Daddy. So we're gonna get into both of those now. So if you're just coming into the video and you're capturing all the tea, honey, capture it, but make sure that you capturing that like button. Oh, okay, because we should be at least 200 at this point. So definitely like up the videos. Um, huh? Oh, so she what? So you guys feel that a good interview? Oh, you're asking if they felt like that was a good interview because she talked about her trauma and didn't take accountability for her actions and her stands against her so-called friends, Chelley and Olandria. You know they said Chelley unfollowed her, right? They said Chelley done unfollowed her. Now, is Olandria going to unfollow her? I doubt it. Okay, I know people are expecting her to, but I do not see it unless Huda crosses Olandria. I don't see them unfollowing each other. I feel like Olandria may be in a place where it's like whatever you two's issue are is between you guys. I interjected before and I'm not going to interject now. I feel like whatever relationship Huda has with Olandria, like Olandria said, is different. You know, y'all are both my closest friends. I have different relationships with y'all, so I don't see them unfollowing each other yet. And I've also been seeing, although they went on that Disney date together, Ace, Clarke, Taylor, Chelley, and Nick and Olandria, I think they're like in an Airbnb together as far as the other people like Huda, Nick, Olandria. So I feel like their bond is, you know, furthering, getting closer. So I don't know. I don't see her doing it just yet until she cross her. But y'all, can I say in a lot of the interviews I'm watching, everybody's talking about what they're gonna do at the reunion. And can I be honest too? I'm like, y'all saying all of this and y'all not gonna be able to do none of this at the reunion. Honestly. And some of the stuff that you think that you're gonna do, they not even gonna show us. Now, unless they finna give us an uncensored version like they be doing with Housewives, I don't see it. I don't see them showing us everything. People talking about getting receipts, printing stuff out on poster boards. They talking about doing all of this stuff. And it's like, baby, production not finna work like that. They not finna, I mean, I would be surprised. Like I said in the previous video, y'all can give us movie night for sure. Because we didn't get it. Like show these people some of the things that they have not seen in the villa and allow them all to address it then, because that's the whole point of the movie night. So we need to have movie night at a reunion. And for me, it's giving, yeah, go ahead and give us 2 hours. Go and give us 2 hours. So we can really get into some things. But I don't think everybody's gonna be able to really get their shit off like they think. And then it depends, because see, now they got Andy. Andy at times can be fair and unfair. And I mean, like the questioning he gave, like if you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, Angela is accusing Phaedra of doing something, but I like the questions that, you know, Andy was asking Angela, like probing more. But sometimes when it's a person he really likes, he'll like, okay, let's move on type of thing. I like how he revisited a question with Portia Williams about how she met her now ex-husband. And Portia didn't really want to answer it. Like, oh, did your friend hook y'all up or what? Portia didn't really want to get into it, but Andy brought the question back. So he has his good and his bad. So we'll just see. I hope that it is a good a good reunion. We shall see. But anywho, let's get into Huda's interview that she did with Access. So she talks about growing up and always being the odd one out. She was really shocked to see so many people actually like her, because she's always thought that everybody, meaning America, hated her. Okay. Can I also add this little piece? And I know people ain't gonna want me to give Huda some, but I'm gonna give Huda some at times. Okay, I'm gonna give her a little piece. I question learning more about some of her family dynamic that we'll get into. I'm like, why would your automatic thought go to America hating you? Because she also said something about like when her and Jeremiah split up, she automatically, oh my God, America hates me. And it's like, you weren't necessarily wrong, right? However, and it's not that they didn't hate her, because I feel like that's a strong word. We just didn't like her actions. But at the same time, you didn't know what was happening outside of the villa. So what else has happened in your family dynamic? And we will get into some of it. that has you automatically thinking that, like, you go to the negative first. And I don't blame just the dad, I blame them sisters and their mama. I'm so sorry, y'all could chew me later. Okay, the fact that she said that they didn't want to believe certain things that she would tell them, like, y'all often invalidated her, and the reason why I feel is because she's the baby. So it started at home with y'all. All right. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it was some guilt too that made her also get her way at times when she would show her as, possibly because the sisters and her has also said on more than one occasion, that she don't typically handle situations how she may have handled them with Chris, right? So I'm like, was she showing her ass and y'all just let her ride because y'all felt guilty about some stuff? But then also at the same time, y'all would make her feel like what she talking about ain't she. So, girl, I don't know. Girl, it's something about that. I don't know. But y'all, let's keep going. I have to acknowledge that. Now, we still gonna clock you because accountability still has to be had, okay? Regardless of that, because now you grown. Now you grown and you know better. However, the mental is something. So, yeah, she says some may. Okay, yeah. So when she talks about how she felt like America hated her, she said, well, some may hate me, she says. And if so, I understand their feelings because their feelings are valid. I'm glad that you know that. I'm glad that you know that the people's feelings are valid. But it's very clear that you had to have done this interview before you went and did that call her daddy interview. She says that she was being authentically herself while in the villa, even if nobody liked it. She said that she was herself 100%. Okay. She says one of the things she learned while being in the villa is loving herself more and knowing her worth. That is something you wholeheartedly need to work on immediately. Loving yourself more. You need to start that ASAP. So she says that for people who thought she didn't win, like meaning, oh, she went through all of that and she still didn't win the show. She said, well, actually, I did win because I won friendships with people that will be lifelong friendships. And she also said that she was able to learn a lot about herself. Girl, you're going to learn even more when you watch yourself back. And I understand people are going to say, well, editing played a role. Played a role. And yes, editing does play a role. However, you have to give them something. You also have to give them something. Editing didn't make you say pussy bitch, fake ass bitch. Like, editing didn't make you say a lot of the things that came out of your mouth. Editing didn't make you call women bitches. Editing didn't make you lean back and say, bitch, if you don't stop right now to somebody that's doing their job as a bombshell, editing didn't do, you did that. So when you go back and you watch that and relive those moments, like, hopefully that helps. She talks about some of the misconceptions about her. She says was her being a crash out and a manipulator. That's not a misconception, my baby. Especially when you reconfirm that you have crashed out before. That is what it is. You being a crash out, your sisters have pretty much hinted at that, and you've said it out your own mouth. You are a crash out. That's not a misconception. A manipulator, everybody has that in them, and I definitely feel like you showed that in this interview. We call her daddy. Okay. So yeah, she did say she's in therapy though. She said she feels like if she was a manipulator or a crash out, her therapist would tell her. Number one, I don't believe that. I don't believe a therapist is gonna tell you you're a crash out. And some of them might. But more than anything, they're just going to show you and give you the tools to work through your crash out moments, the moments you want to crash out. Consider the possibility, consider an alternative thought to what it is that you want to do based on what is the outcome that you're trying to receive. So in order for me to receive this type of outcome, how should I proceed in properly communicating when it comes to da 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 da? So they might not blatantly say you're a manipulator and you're a crash out, but what they also may do is they may reach back into your history and use those people as reasons why the behavior you're exhibiting today has been learned from something. So that may be what they do. And that's the way I'm thinking, I ain't no therapist. I'm just telling you. So she does admit to not doing things right in the villa and also says that it was a lot. It was a lot that the people didn't see as to why she reacted in certain ways, right? So it seems like Jeremiah may have been saying and doing things that we did not see. Now, I will say that Nick also referenced some type of clip that will, I guess, validate why they may have released him, or invalidate something Jeremiah may have said in an interview. But he did say that there was a clip. So she could be right, she could be wrong. This is why, and I'm gonna say it again. I know y'all probably tired of hearing me say it, the people that have been watching the show. I need live feeds. I need y'all to bring the live feeds back. Okay. I do understand that you guys are trying to create a show for us and you're editing and doing all of that. And it's good. We enjoy it. Don't get it twisted, right? However, I feel like if we had some of the live feeds, and y'all let me know, audience, let me know your thoughts on that. If we had the live feeds, it would better explain some things, and some of the fans don't have to run and create their own narratives, therefore harassing other cast members of the show, or at least, putting, even though they can't see it, but putting all this stuff on their pages or whatever the case is, right? So, yeah, we just give it to us on Wednesday nights. If y'all gonna keep after Sun, just drop a little cute little live feed. And no, I'm not talking about unseen bits, because y'all like to dress stuff up and here's what you didn't see in this challenge. I don't give a fuck about a challenge. Okay, the challenge is for y'all to bring me the real tea. Okay, so when we seeing these two individuals over here connecting and talking, it won't be a surprise when they recouple up at a later time. Hello, hello. That's what they did on Paramount, but they only did what, 2 seasons on Paramount CBS. Y'all need to pick up what they doing, pick up what they putting down, Peacock. Anywho, so yeah, she talks about how she regrets moving slow. I'm sorry, not moving slow with Jeremiah, moving too fast with him. She could not recall in the Call Her Daddy interview when they started to have sex. But I'm like, girl, he wasn't even there that long, for real, for real. So we know it was very, very soon. So she says that she doesn't plan to reach out to him after seeing how he's moved when he got out of the villa, when it came to her. When it comes to her high of the experience, and she says that it was the end. Yeah, when it came to the high moment for her, it was her experience in the villa, and pretty much she says it was the end of realizing her growth or something like that. At the end, when she realized her growth, she said the low was when she started to doubt herself in the villa. That's your low, when you started to doubt yourself. Your low wasn't when you made everybody in the villa feel uncomfortable to the point where they really didn't want to have nothing to do with you. And that's just not on Chelley or Olandria, for real. Because Taylor and Olandria was still kind of trying to talk to her, but like the villa as a whole wasn't fucking with you. Right? And people were feeling threatened, but that's your low, when you started to doubt yourself. The villa gonna make everybody doubt themselves, but that's your low. Okay. So Huda says that she believes in forgiveness, and you don't have to be the best of friends with that person, but she doesn't condone hate. When she said this, I said she talking about Chelley. She talking about Chelley. So now y'all fans got her feeling validated in whatever she did with Ace, and that she wasn't doing too much and Chelley was doing the most. Okay. And that's where I feel like she's talking about Chelley, speaking on forgiveness. Like, you did what you did and now everybody's dragging me, but I can forgive you. We don't have to be the best of friends or anything, and I also don't condone hate. So you guys don't have to be over in her comments hating her and saying all these rude and racist things and all of that. That's what I heard when she said that. Okay. Um, so that's that. I just said, Huda, I don't think that you're gonna win that one when it comes to you and Chelley. You might win it with your fans, but overall, I don't think so. When you have 4 people confirming that you did too much, really, I'm sorry, you had the entire villa confirming that you did too much, but you have 4 people, more so I would say 3, that confirmed that you sat on that man's face. Like, that is a bit, that especially when the music is off at that point. Yes, the goal is to get the heart rate up. That is not the question that is at hand, okay? Or the issue at hand. The issue is the beat cutting off, you still going, and you sitting on his face. That is too much. That to me. And a lot of people want to say, oh, well, they didn't set up the boundaries or whatever the case was. I feel like she didn't do anything wrong. Y'all didn't define y'all connection. The reason why it's also wrong for me is the fact that if she was indeed in the very position that Chelley sat, she would have showed her whole ass, because she's already shown it for less, right? Bitch, if you don't stop, like right now, all because a person is coming in to do their job as a bombshell and you cussing at her and calling her out her name. You know, that was for less. So if the bombshell or Chelley or somebody would have put that pussy on his face, then she would have went off. Oh yeah, baby, she would have went off for real. So anywho, that was pretty much the interview with Access Hollywood. Now let us get into her interview with Call Her Daddy. All right. First things first, y'all, I did feel for her in this moment. However, in my personal, for me, and I'm not discounting anything that she went through. What I am saying is that these are separate situations, okay? Just a bit. So I understand what you went through. I will have sympathy for that situation. And I hate that nobody else would stand up for you in that moment. It starts with your family, right? However, how you showed up in that villa is different as a mom. And we're going to clock that accordingly, okay? So two things can be true that happened to her. We don't support what happened to her. We hate that happened to her. I wish something happened with her dad, in all honesty. Okay? Because nobody should be going through any of that, period. However, over here, that wasn't cool either. So her dad was abusive towards her siblings, and her mom for majority of her life. He was just an abusive man. She's talked about how she hasn't talked to her dad in 8 years. I think she may have said she was like 16 at the time or something, since the last time she talked to her dad. I personally believe, and this would be allegedly, but it's my opinion, it's not a fact. I feel like she was talking about it without talking about it. I do believe her dad assaulted her sexually, 1000%. I think when she talked, I was really scared about this portion. This got me like cringing a bit. When she talked about, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up some audio real quick, because when she talked about being in that at her dad's house, where is it? And she said, this time I was scared. And she said she was in the bathroom. I'm like, scared of what? And I'm like, I hope her dad did not try to impress. You know what I'm saying?
Do something for yourself in that way.
Let me see.
At all. Growing up, my dad was extremely abusive. He was very abusive, like towards my mother, towards me and my siblings. Like a vivid memory I have as a kid is like, I don't even know how old I was, but I remember hearing my dad like beating the shit out of my mom in the room. And I remember like finally, like I think someone got the door open, and I just remember seeing my mom's face, like her glasses were broken. And then I just see him snap her head back and slam the door. Like I'm gonna cry. Like that's literally like that was my childhood. Can I get a tissue?
There's tissue. I got you.
Damn, we just started, Alex. Hold on a second.
You're good.
I'm definitely about to start my period. Like, there's no fucking way I'm not.
I'm on mine, so we'll just fucking cry together.
Alex, you're making me sync with you. Should I stop this?
Yeah, just put it there.
Okay, so, but yeah, so I grew up in an extremely abusive household. Not needless to say, like I did have a fun childhood though. I think me and my siblings were extremely close in the midst of the chaos. Like we were very, very close. My sister, she would get us away from all that. She would like take us on we called it the dinosaur trail, and it was like this dirt road because they were doing construction. And sometimes you would see like deer tracks and whatnot, and like sometimes she would do things to make it look cooler, to make us think there were dinosaurs and stuff. Like that's like the things we'd have fun with. We'd go in the creek and we'd play in the creek. We would do all these things as kids.
And of the 5 kids, where were you in the lineup?
I'm the youngest.
I, even in like writing this interview, like I had no fucking idea about anything about you, because there's not anything really on the internet about your life.
They didn't put it on the show either?
No, that you didn't talk about any of this on the show.
Oh, that's crazy.
When you're talking about your dynamic with your parents, and specifically your father being abusive, being the youngest, because I can imagine you're talking about your sister kind of like being the one that's getting you guys out of the house, but how do you think being the youngest in an abusive household impacted your personal development?
I think I was a lot more persuasive being a lot younger. So I was a lot more persuasive in terms of like giving me sweets and like buying me things and, you know, doing things towards me and hurting me and then saying, oh, here's this, or like doing things and, you know, saying, you know, I'll go take you here if whatever. And that happened to me a lot as a child as well. Like, and then at one point, you know, when my parents separated, I was in like the 4th grade, I believe. And my mom, I remember when my dad was at work, we packed up everything and we left. And my mom, we lived in like this 2-bed, 1-bath apartment that was like, I think like $600 rent, I'm pretty sure. No washer and dryer. We'd go to the laundromat. Like me and all my sisters were in a room. My brother was in his own room. My mom slept on the couch. It wasn't even a couch. It was when you know those outdoor like futon things?
Yeah.
Outdoor like futon things? Yeah. And they have like the wooden railing things on them. And it's like just a cushion. That's what my mom would sleep on every single night because she didn't want to take a bedroom.
What was the breaking point for her to get you guys out?
I'm not 100% sure exactly what her breaking point was. I think maybe it possibly could be her support system on the people on the outside that saw this happening.
Do you have a relationship with your father? Do you speak to him?
I haven't talked to my dad in 8 years. Yeah, I stopped talking to him when I was 16. There's a really valid reason as to why I'm not speaking to him. My dad was, there was a lot of times where I was alone with my dad, and there's things that like my family doesn't believe me about. Tissue. So damn, girl, you got me crying on the show. I know that freaking period is coming and it's on its way to us very soon.
Period or not, Huda, like this is some
girl, trust me, when I was with the psychologist, I like talked to her about all these things and I was just crying because it's like you relive it when you talk about it. Hold on.
Take your time.
So anyway, there's a lot of things that happen. I don't want to go like too much into detail. But I kept a lot of things to myself, and then there was a point where I got really scared, and I remember calling my mom and just telling like, please pick me up, like please pick me up. And she's like, what's wrong? Like I can't. I have to take you tomorrow. Like she was working like 3-4 jobs.
When she said there was a time where I got really scared, when she says that, that is what made me really question what happened there. And I want to insinuate something so bad with the big R. Subtly insinuating. But yeah, that's crazy.
This one would not sleep. She would sleep like 3-4 hours. And we would never really see her as much because she was working all the time. We would eat frozen food and Wendy's. And she's like, I can't. I was crying. I was like, please pick me up. I would lock myself in the bathroom. My dad went in his office and was like working. And I like tiptoed out when she was there, and I like grabbed my things and like tiptoed past his office because the floor would creak sometimes. So I was so scared, and so I tiptoed out and I like closed the door really quietly, and I just told her, I was like, please go, please go, please go. Like I was like, please get out, like get me out of here. And to this day, like I don't think anyone in my family believes anything that I say about that.
Why?
And that's crazy. Why would y'all not believe what she's saying if y'all too have witnessed him be abusive? And sometimes people will be like, oh, well, I've seen him be physically abusive, but if he was sexually abusive, like Dad wouldn't do that. Because that's what I feel she is alluding to without necessarily coming out and saying it. For you to not talk to him for 8 years. Because obviously the abuse that he has already bestowed upon the family, you still, love your dad, still went around your dad, even after the physical abuse and stuff. But when she was 16 and he pulled that, well, I don't know if I think she was 16, not sure of the age. But when he pulled that stunt, she ain't talked to the man in like 8 years, it sounds like. Right? So, yeah, let's keep going.
I have no idea. Maybe it's hard to believe.
Yeah.
But
because
I just accepted that I know what was going on.
Yeah.
And, I had listened to like podcasts about certain things leading up to a lot with my dad, and it made me realize like I don't want to say grooming, but like there's a lot of things that were happening.
Grooming. When we talk about grooming, what do we talk about when we hear that, right? It's leading to somebody being sexually violated.
I don't know. My dad hasn't remarried or nothing. Like I have no idea the reasonings behind it. So I never really had a father figure growing up in that way.
And there's that. Okay. Now I understand childhood trauma does shape who we are today. However, it is not to be used as an excuse for people's behavior oftentimes. I also say that too for the people that may want to combat that. When you go into court after committing whatever crimes, they don't always give a damn about what you went through in your childhood, right? Yes, childhood may have shaped you. A lot of us have had traumas, and some people have come out in a way better space than others, right? And they handle things much differently even at a younger age, at 21, right? So they not gonna care in a court of law what your childhood traumas were for real, unless it's that type of family sexual abuse type of case, right? But I mean, it may be used as a talking point in a trial, but at the end of the day, you're going to be held accountable for them actions, right? So that is, to me, similar with the Huda situation. I completely, as I said, understand what all she went through. I hate that she had to experience that in her life. I wish her dad was dealt with 1,000%. However, at this point in her life, being that she is 8 years removed from her father, we gonna talk about anything that, she may not have done appropriately in this life, okay? At this age. So I just wanted to play that so you guys can hear some of what she talked about. All right. She also goes on to discuss the challenges of childhood and her being bullied and having friends that she thought was her friends and wasn't really her friends. But honestly, a lot of us went through that. A lot of us got picked on, and not just by our friends or people we thought were our friends or girls, but some of us got picked on by guys too. You know, a lot of us were bullied. Um what else? I don't I know that Call Her Daddy interviewed Amaya. Haven't listened to her interview yet, but I am wondering if questions were asked of Amaya to make her also relatable to people or humanize her in some factor to learn what the trials and tribulations were of her childhood. I don't know if the host did this so people could ease back off of Huda and to give her, you know, the soft edit that she may not have gotten on the show, or if she did it because she learned this and everybody needs to know about your whack ass daddy. Right. So, not sure of the reasons, but she definitely spent a substantial amount of time talking about her childhood, growing up, her baby daddy, that relationship, how she did a lot on her own. So, I really feel like the first half of the interview, it's like a 2 hour interview, was spent to garner some soft hearts in the direction of Huda. That is just my opinion. Okay. Um, so let's keep going. So Huda always wanted to do the show. Make that a note, okay? She always wanted to do the show. She was dating a guy who was not the best guy for her, and he ended up getting reached out to by the Love Island producers who wanted him to be a part of the show. He tried to downplay the show to her as if the show was nothing, and whatever the case was, here it is. He was considering the opportunity. Now we don't know if he ever went on the show or anything, but she decided, well, hell, if he could do it, let me try. So she decides to go ahead, apply for the show, and they eventually reached out to her after a month and then did a few interviews. She felt like this was an opportunity that she manifested for herself because she will often talk about how she's going to do this show and how she's going to be one of the OG girls as well. And that's exactly what it is that she got from the opportunity. Now it's time to talk about she and Jeremiah. She felt like he was love bombing her because when he kissed the girl on the cheek, like when Yulissa came to kiss on him, he kissed her on the cheek and then kiss her down like Ace did. And she also references in the interview how Jeremiah feels like love bombing is just one thing, which is gifts and stuff. But she's like, no, you know, it comes with a lot of other stuff too. But I feel like if that's the case, if you feel like it's not just about giving gifts, but it comes with, you know, the reassurance of how much they like you and I think I love and kissy faces and this and that and trying to smother you or whatever. If that, because that's what you want, a guy that's obsessed with you, right? So if he obsessed with you, he probably will be coming with a bit of love bombing. But my thing is, if you say that about him, then you also have to admit that you too contributed to love bombing because you were likely love bombing him as well. Y'all was love bombing each other. It's not a one-sided thing here. In my personal, because you was the first one to drop that off at the first night. I love you. And she was like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. And granted, it may have been a slip up, but she did say it on more than one occasion. And she decided to say for herself, like, that's just how I talk. A lot of times when it comes to addressing Huda's actions, it's like, oh, that's just how I talk. But if it was a situation with somebody else, then you intentionally and you love bomb me and you da 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 da. And I'm like, well, why that can't be just, that's just how they are. That's what you say. It's just how you is. Let's keep going. So she says that she felt like she didn't manipulate or play him by withholding information about her daughter. She wanted to, you know, get a vibe for him, see how he's feeling first before she exposed that to him. In the beginning, and I don't really change on that. I don't fault her for not telling him in the first few days, but I do think that she should have told him that week, especially if you're starting to confide in other people in the villa. I just don't think that you should just tell those people, because if they were to slip up and tell you, you're going to be mad at them. So you come out better going ahead, getting this information out after the first 3 days, letting him know, and then you can see how he's moving from there. And she did tell him, he kind of started acting a little funny. And she said that she told him, you know, You don't have to, like, be with me. Like, if you want to leave because I'm a mom, like, I get it or whatever. And he was just telling her no, like, it makes him more attracted to her because she's a mom. That's what he said. I can't remember if he said it on the show or not. But that's interesting for him to say that, because his actions were so different. He seemed like he was very well bothered by her having a child, and how their conversations were like being magnified so quickly, where they're talking about marriage and stuff, and my husband would never, and all this. And I kind of blame him a little bit for that, for not slowing it down. Like, why you ain't slow that down? Like, that's too far. So she says that, yeah, so she felt like they both share a fault in their coupling. And I would appreciate that if she didn't continue to go on through the interview, I felt, and made it seem like it was all his fault. Okay. So she says when she says she wants a man to be obsessive over her, and I pretty much paraphrase this. When she says she wants a man to be obsessive over her, she's pretty much saying that she wants a man that's intentional. And for me, I'm saying that you need to be mindful of the words that you use, being a person that manifests things. Be mindful of using the term obsessive, because you're going to get the wrong type of obsessive over you. You should just say that you desire to have a man that's very intentional about the relationship that he's building with you. That is what it is that I think. That is my personal. So she says that now this is interesting to me. She says that he befriended Pepe, and I couldn't really catch it when because it sounded like she said that when he found out Pepe wasn't interested in her, he befriended Pepe. But then later on, it sounded like she was saying Pepe was interested. So I'm not sure, but I think in that moment she was saying when he found out Pepe wasn't interested, he befriended Pepe. And she said that's something a lot of the guys in the villa would do. They would befriend each other so that they can have some type of bro code in the effort to avoid the guys from going after their girls. That's probably very, very possible. I don't know why y'all moving like that. I think that's what made the villa so damn not good. It was a number of things that didn't make this season great, because y'all moving by these rules, and it's like, who said that? Who told y'all that? So she speaks on Amaya, right? And she talks about her coming in as a bombshell. And she was like, and why she called her a bitch, right? Why she called her a bitch. She says because she felt like Amaya watched episodes already and completely understood the connection she had with Jeremiah. So she felt like Amaya was coming into the villa to piss her off. I said, girl, what? You do know that's what bombshells do, right? So even the host had to clock her about that and said she was doing her job. So Huda says that, this is new. I'm learning. All of this is new to me. This is where I feel like you're contradicting yourself, okay? This is where the flag on the play comes, because you just said that you've always wanted to do Love Island. You also said this was something that you manifested. If you've always wanted to do it and you've been so tuned into the show, then you have a full understanding of what a bombshell is and what their jobs are. You were threatened, and that's all that you had to say. Okay? I'm threatened. I was nervous, girl. Okay? I was threatened. All right? Like, I was pressed about it. Okay, she was cute too. Her eyes is pretty. The people love some light color eyes. You know what I'm saying? I thought that I was more so the preference, but she a piece of the preference too, because she Dominican. So it's like, girl, I got a piece of competition, and I just listen, bitch. Okay, so I had to get her up off him, and that's what I feel I would have respected more. Just being honest, like, girl, I had to get that up off my man. I was like, like, bitch, what? Yeah, I call her a bitch. Okay, all the hoes was bitches coming up in there trying to take my man. And because I ain't know her, I felt justified to call that bitch a bitch. Even if I was smart, I felt justified to call that bitch a bitch. Bitch. But you didn't do that. But it's okay. It's okay. They like the best of friends now, so whatever. Huda says none of the guys liked her and she didn't really know why. Okay. I think the guys did like you, Huda. until you weren't giving them a chance. Because Taylor, even when Ace was like, oh, is it hard to have a conversation with Huda? They tried to put it on Jeremiah, but Jeremiah was like, it ain't my fault she don't want to talk to y'all. So it's really that you weren't really interested in them. And I also feel like you were trying to operate off that girl code earlier in the season with Chelley. You weren't finna go and talk to Ace. And then you also being a person that's always like, are you okay? Because this is what she said in her interview. She's constantly checking on people. Are you okay? Are you good? And I do that. I do that too. They be like, why are you? I'm just making sure you good. I do that to my friends. I'm like, you okay? You good? I don't know why. Anywho, so she often likes to check on people. And hold on, let me go back. So yeah, she said none of the guys liked her or whatever. So I forgot what I was going to say. So she often likes to check on people, but basically it lends itself going back to the whole girl code thing, wanting to not really offend anybody. When, y'all initially was there on y'all own journey, so you should have just, at least got to know them. But everybody tried to blame Jeremiah, but Huda wasn't that interested in talking to them. But I also find it funny that you operated in girl code earlier in the season, but then when you was a little desperate and you didn't really have a lot of options, you put that cootie twine on that man's forehead, on his face. Okay, so girl code had went out the window, just a little piece. So she was asked if Ace's concerns were valid, and she said, yeah. She felt like they were valid. He had every right to ask her questions and stuff, and that was cool. She admits that at one point she did like Ace. She did find him attractive, which was the reason that she kissed him initially. She also said that the people, and y'all let me know because I didn't see this, but they're saying that Ace liked a lot of Huda's photos before he even went into the villa. I don't know, y'all. After y'all, not y'all, but them. After the people accessed Olandria's account and put faces on certain individuals in a certain traumatic video, I don't know what the fans would concoct. And I don't know. I've never heard that. I don't know if they decided to do that when Ace and Chelley, when Chelley and Huda got into they situation or something. I don't know. So that could be fake because according to Huda, she also said that that he may have started to delete it or something like that. I don't know, but she seemed to be very proud about the fact that he was liking all of her photos. And I don't know why. I feel like two things it's not that I don't know why. I do know this. Two things can be true. You can have a friend that say they care about you, but also are jealous of your ass at the same time. And some of that is what it gives when it comes to Huda and Chelley. The fact that she smiled and was proud of the fact that Ace was liking photos, like, yeah, I heard. I heard. Like, you got this underlying competition thing that you got going on with Chelley. And I don't know. I don't know. And I do know. I be saying I don't know, but I do know. Honestly, Chelley had a lot of that was on her when she was in the villa. She had a lot of guys that was really on her. And I think for Huda, who is typically the narratives that they like to push for a lot of black men, and that it's so many black men, right? But there's a large percentage, I feel, that are highly attracted to exotic women like Jeremiah, right? So I feel like when you believe that you're that type of preference, you automatically step into rooms as if you're better than, and you're not. You not. And I hate that for a lot of y'all because, and this is no disrespect, it's just honesty, because y'all be with these men, but when they be with y'all, they be looking over at the black women. And I be seeing it. Like, if you don't pay attention to your plate and what you got going on over there, sir, you all up in this lady face. We see you. I don't know if she see you. She should be able to see you because I see you. And you right there by her. Right? So it's like they keep their eyes on the black women, and I hate it for a lot of them because a lot of times a person's preference, in my personal, is really based on how other people view them, what other people are going to think. I feel like people make a lot of decisions based on how other people are going to think. Like, oh dang, he got him a red bone. Oh dang, he got him an exotic chick. Oh, he got him a Dominican. Oh, he got him a this, that. Oh, she Hispanic. That's. And it's sad because I feel like it don't be authentic. It be like they just have a fetish for y'all. And some of y'all have a fetish for them too. But that's crazy, especially when I see online, how a lot of them do y'all so damn wrong. And for me, that confirms that they only want y'all for image purposes. And I think that is so whack. I think that is so whack. You get them so that you can feel like your stock is up amongst your homeboys, and then you don't treat them no better. But then y'all expect black women to be jealous of that? We don't be caring. We don't, excuse me. We don't care. What we care about is the disrespect after you've made your choice. Nobody cares about you, because a lot of black women preference is not black men too. I understand that. But they not out here disrespecting the black men, right? So I feel like that's where the issue comes into play. All right. And that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, but I just feel like there's some underlying jealousy, and I hate it. It would be nice if they could figure some stuff out. But it is going to take it's going to take some accountability though, Miss Huda. It is. It is. You're going to have to stand in it. I know it may appear to some of your fans that you're standing in it by doing your interview, but not solely, okay? So you and Chelley are going to have a real honest conversation, and maybe y'all will be friends in the future. If you ask me, and it's no disrespect, I would never be friends with you. Because I just feel like once you show me that, honestly, it's going to show itself up again later when life is not going how you want it to go for yourself. The same way you wanted, because she also referenced later on in this interview when she talked about why she was acting a certain way with Jeremiah, because she's like, dang, I feel like I'm getting the shitty end of the stick, and he gets to go on dates, and he did this and that, da, da, da. Basically talking about how she was saying certain things to him. That's because you was hurt and you wanted him to feel the same way you feel. I feel like that's no different with a friendship, because life not excelling for you in the way that you want it to is all based on your mental. So if you're not using your friend's situation as, a person that manifests, and thinking to yourself like, God is just showing me what's possible for me. If you don't have that type of mindset, you're going to fall into, you're going to say slick shit. You're going to say stuff to discourage them, because you're really projecting. Really. So for me, I personally would never be your friends. Everything would always be surface. And that's just, like, hey, girl, what's up? But ins and out of my life, you would never get. That's just, but I feel like, again, you got time to I guess figure that out, learn that. But Chelley, I think, is older. Chelley not gonna play them games. So at least I don't think. So her unfollowing you, yeah, like, I don't owe you nothing. What I'm following you for? You not my type of girl. And that's okay. So I'm gonna let y'all do what y'all do with that. Okay, so anyway, so she says that Huda says that she and Jeremiah, this is what I didn't like as well. Huda says she and Jeremiah had sex, but you couldn't full on do it. If you couldn't full on do it, why did you come back and tell the girls, oh my God, girls, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you guys something. Me and Jeremiah had sex. If you couldn't full on do it, why would you want to come back and tell everybody and be so excited about the fact that y'all did that? Right? And I also want to reference another thing for people that may feel like Huda don't lie. Huda literally went on a date with Jeremiah and came back and lied to the girls about what he said about them living together in the future. Let that be an example. Okay? But anywho, there's that. So she speaks on what she learns after being intimate with him, and she tells people, don't do what she did. Please don't. You don't do what you did no more. Now, I understand you did it again in the villa, and you probably used to getting it on a regular on the outside, so you tried to use Chris for his wanga-tanga. But you don't do that no more. You follow your own advice first. So she goes on to mention love bombing, and I didn't really like how she was using it. You know what I'm saying? But she kind of got into that a little more. We talked about that earlier on. Huda talks about Jeremiah telling No, yeah, telling Iris about their issues, their problems that they were having. And the host let her know that. And this is where I was with, I think y'all say her name is Alex. This is where I was with Alex. When Alex says, no, 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 your feelings are valid. How you felt about that. Cause I don't want nobody telling my business either. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is between us. You're getting outsiders in our business. And this girl likes you. She's going to use that to her advantage. So don't do that. And I love that Alex told her, like, your feelings are very valid. But your reaction and you taking it too far wasn't, because while you're at this heightened energy and he's on some chill mode, it makes you look crazy. In addition, everybody in the villa, it didn't help when we're getting their reactions. It all seemed like they didn't want to have nothing to do with you. It was like you were draining. It was like you were starting to ruin their experience. But this is why the Islanders get on my nerves, because even with all of that, y'all still chose to keep her around. So obviously there was something about her that y'all liked, something that y'all still chose to keep her around. Like, okay, what? But yeah, so that she let her know your feelings were valid. How you reacted, how you handled things weren't. The Islanders didn't even want to be around you. Like I said, you were draining their energy, because remember when she went over there to talk to Taylor and them, everybody started to slowly get their shit and leave. Everybody started to leave. They had it up to cheer. So she says that when America split her and Jeremiah apart, she believed that America hated her. She was thankful that she was able to redeem herself twice. And that's interesting, because she also talks about how she felt like Jeremiah got a pretty face, basically. Because with him leaving the villa early, he was able to shape whatever narratives that he wanted to shape and put out there. And he didn't have to shape narratives. Editing did that. Watching y'all on the show did that. Y'all shaped the narratives for us. He didn't have to really say a whole lot. Now, he may have validated a lot of what we were already thinking, but he didn't have to shape anything. And honestly, I feel like you got the pretty face, literally and figuratively, because you got to stay, redeem yourself twice, whereas his journey was cut short. Then you somehow miraculously made it to the finals, and then made it to third place at that. So, huh? No, ma'am. I don't agree. Let's see what else. So she talks about calling him a savage. She says they didn't show all the things that he said to her. And then she's like, be so for real. How many women have said you put savage to a man? So she feels like what she said and did wasn't that big of a deal. She says, mine was just recorded. So you guys are upset over me saying pussy ass bitch when you guys have probably said worse. And we all have said that to or about a man. But see, here's my thing, Huda. It wasn't even really for me that you just said pussy. It was more so you making the Islanders feel uncomfortable because you couldn't control your emotions, because you weren't getting your way. You weren't getting the man that you wanted because America chose to split y'all up, and you projected onto him as if he was wrong when he didn't even pair himself up with her. We did that. The way that you approached the guys, the bombshells. Hey, can I talk to Iris? Iris, let me meet you. Matter of fact, let's do it over here. Like you running things in the villa, girl. Iris looking like she don't know what to do. You literally had Pepe, and I think it was Jalen at the time, spooked. That they had to go downstairs to where the girls cut out running because they didn't know what was going to happen, mamas. It's not just about the pussy comment. It's the uncomfortableness that you made all of the Islanders feel because you weren't getting your way. Period. Talking about y'all went on a date? My dream date. And I'm like, he didn't choose the date. You just, yeah. You just got to take some time. Like, you know how this show go. And that's crazy for you to manifest and desire to be on this show so much and then just not understand nothing. But you know, girl, I'm just telling y'all, these my personal, okay? We ain't gonna always agree, but this is my personal. What else? So she does say that she doesn't feel like Jeremiah has been taking accountability for his actions as well. Okay. She also says that he got a pretty face, and we talked about that. Now, I will say, Jeremiah, if you've done something, take that accountability, because Huda is saying that there were things that we did not see Nick also alluded to that and said that there's a clip that I guess he would like to show of some fashion. And I can see that. I'll be honest. I can see where he would likely capture all of her attention so that no other guys would talk to her, or either befriend the guys so on some bro stuff they wouldn't try and talk to her. I mean, I could see that. I could see that being the case. But also I have to say, you also didn't want to talk to those guys. Because if you did, you would have went and talked to them. It's not often that you pull a person for a chat and they decline. You wanted to pull Chelley declined. When you done crashed out on Jeremiah, wanted to pull him for a chat, he went, tried to actually get y'all to start over, to get to where you want y'all to be. You mildly crashed out then, and he said, she pulled me for another chat, I'm going to have to decline. So, I mean, you could have pulled those other guys if you wanted to really get into some things with them. So, that's that. Okay. Yeah, Taylor did kind of say in the interview about how Jeremiah was doing the same thing with Adriana that he would do with Huda. And that, I think that's what he mentioned about pretty much occupying a lot of her time so the guys wouldn't be able to talk to her. But at the same time, all y'all got to do is go. See, this is where I also feel like the Islanders be on bullshit too. Do y'all know how many, especially people that's been watching this show for years, right? Do y'all know how many times people have had conversations, no matter how good it is, and folks will walk up and say, hey, can I pull you for a chat? That's all the guys had to do. And keep pulling her for a chat. She wasn't going to really turn it down. But instead, they chose to sit up there and hate on the man. That's what I couldn't get with. But, yeah. But you know what, Kiki? I think he did do that. I can see that. Yes. Because I think that's what Taylor said. He was trying to occupy all her time so that the guys wouldn't be able to talk to her. But I feel like instead of them sitting over there under the little hut hating, they should have walked up and interrupted the conversation and said, hey, can I pull you for a chat? And they didn't. You know, so I mean, like, that's how the show works for them. But for them to penalize him for having conversations, and here's the gag: that conversation they were hating on, Adriana pulled him for a chat. Wasn't he sitting at the table and she walked over and pulled him for a chat, and they went and sat on the yellow couch? So it's like she ain't pulling y'all. She must don't want y'all. Go don't know. You know, so some part of it is like on him. But then also, I feel like a lot of it is on the guys. And that's why I was like, I have to say, y'all some haters, bro. Y'all was some haters. And there wasn't even nothing to really hate on. And y'all messed up our show because of that. That's why I'll never forgive y'all. I started to see it for y'all just a little bit. But that's why I ain't vote for y'all, too. Okay? I almost voted for Chelley and Ace. But I'm glad I didn't. Okay? Anywho. Let's get to Casa more, because now we're done with Jeremiah, because Huda feels like, listen, that man's name does not deserve to come out my mouth. I said, ooh. She said she could be cordial though at the reunion. Hey, what's up? But child, I feel like too much happened this season that to give us a hour-long reunion is not fair. It's not fair, especially when we were robbed of so much, y'all. That's just what I think. That's not cool. Y'all gonna have to give us a little bit more than that. Just like I need y'all to give me a little more likes than that, honey. It's over 1,000 people in the chat, so we can get up to 500, at least 400, girl. That'd be nice. Thank you so much. All right, let's get to this Casa more conversation. So Huda says that she approached Chelley with the idea and plan to bring Chris back. This confirms what Chris told us earlier when we watched the other interview, or when I watched it. And he said that Huda did approach him, but you got yourself over there on Stand on Business and sat up there and said that it was Chelley's plan. I don't like that. And now when I look back at it, you was jealous of the situation she had with Ace. And you was trying to throw a monkey wrench in that for Ace to potentially question her. If he would have actually leaned into that comment about the plan, Ace would have been like, oh, so you plan to bring him over here. You knew what you was doing when you said that, when you knew it was Huda's plan the whole time. And then we kind of saw that. Then we see, I don't know, I could have sworn, y'all, we saw Huda tell Chelley that. right? But I think Chelley was just irritated with Huda because she felt like Huda was impeding on her interest, her Casa Amor interest. That's really what it was. So it was like, here you go. Now you want to try and come and get the guy that I got. I thought you already had a guy. Okay, that's fine. Whatever you want to do, girl, that's fine. Do it anyway, because you're going to do what you want to do anyway, right? You the one that's been doing what you want to do and getting away with it, right? Oh, well, then keep it up. You got it. Whatever you want to do, that's fine. Okay. Because I don't even know if Chelley knew what had just happened between JD and Huda at the time. Maybe she did, but I'm not sure if she knew what happened between the two of them. When he pretty much pissed her off and Huda said, okay, gets up and walks off. And yet again, that was another man. That was another man that says she likes to be dominant over things. Huda, in order for you to be dominant, let me tell you something, baby. Okay? You are going to have to get a man that loves you more than you love him. And that might be what you may call obsessive. But that's what I call intentional. You're going to have to get you one of them. I saw this one lady said, and I had already been saying it, but she added another piece to it where she said he got to somewhat be scared of you too. That I'm like, that's Huda. That's Huda. Huda need that man. Huda. He might be exactly what it is. He might be your type to a T. He might not necessarily be your type to a T. Right? But he might be getting there. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe his journey maybe he's not a fit guy, right? Got the body, got the build, just not his fit. But sometimes you with your partner, he might be working out with you. Get him involved in that. Okay? But just make sure you don't come up off for him, girl, because you get that man fine and fit. He might try and slip a little. I don't know. But that's what you need. You need a man that's going to love you more than you like him. Okay? Or love him. In order for that to happen. So then Chris, yeah. Okay, so she asked about the host, one of the host. So she asked about where things went wrong with her and Chelley. And she says she don't know. Let me tell y'all where things went wrong with her and Chelley when she showed her ass on Jeremiah. But even before that, y'all, didn't I clocked this earlier in the season? I think right before she went, I said, y'all, have y'all noticed that Chelley ain't really been doing no sit down conversations with Huda? I was telling y'all that, and it eventually showed itself up. Chelley has been tired of Huda. She's been tired, so she may not know because maybe Chelley never approached her. Chelley just stayed clear of her. I feel like Huda may have been a bit draining. So for the people that may have watched Nick's live with him and Olandria, I don't know if you guys noticed how much Chelley would come, not Chelley, I'm sorry, how much Huda would come into the room. When they on live having their time with each other, with their fans, she just kept coming in the room, kept coming. That might be a little like, you need too much of my energy, especially for you to say that you're an empath is crazy. I feel like Chelley might be more of an empath than you, right? I think that you might be a little bit of an energy sucker. Or might be a piece of vampire, you know? I don't know, empath, but yeah. So Chelley was sick of your ass a long time ago. She just probably didn't say that. So she says everyone talked about her and not to her. Nick talked about and to you. Because I remember saying that Nick was one of the fakest, realest niggas I done seen coming through the YNs. I done seen coming through the villa. Okay? Now, Nick ain't gonna too much say a whole lot behind your back, and I said in your face. Cause I even though I didn't like how he moved at times, but he was very clear that he wanted you out that damn house. Okay, so Nick was talking to you, right? And then also I feel like at a time that may be sticking with her, as far as people talked about me but not to me, it was that weird energy, man. They didn't know how to take you. They ain't know how to take you. They ain't know how to get a read on you. I think that may have had something to do with that. So she says when she tried to give her opinion, no one cared. She says that's also the reason why she didn't stand up for Amaya on that day, because she wanted to stand up for Amaya, but whenever she had something to say, people just tell her to shut up. Ain't nobody tell you shut up when you said, I wrote that. They allowed you to explain yourself. I don't remember nobody telling you to shut up. And honestly, What does you speaking up for Amaya have to do with that? Well, let me say this. I'll correct that. I think Huda did go with Sierra to comfort her. So I'll give Huda that. Because although Huda did not speak up for her, Huda definitely went over there with Sierra to comfort Amaya. All right. But shout out to Brian. I'm glad nobody else really said nothing, because that was the person we needed to speak up. And that's the person Amaya needed to hear speak up, to let her know you still have potential here in this villain. Right? Thank you so much for the super chat, Casey. I appreciate it. Hey, Jamie. Have we clocked how Huda is clinging on to hugely and positively relevant peeps, Nick, Olandria, and Amaya, and how everyone else is fake? Listen, I feel like I just clocked that. Thank you so much for the super chat when I was mentioning how she just kept coming into the room when they were talking. Stayed in a room. When Nick was on there, she came in there to show Olandria something on the phone and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's just her. Maybe that's her attachment style. Some people can get drained with all of that. She did say she can't go home, though. She did talk about that in her Access interview. Well, she did. Well, she said she can't go home, but I think it's a more of she's not ready to go home, right? She does want to relocate to LA. I think that she's going to stay around, get to learn the city a little more before she moves there. But also, she said her daughter was out of town with her dad. So with her daughter being out of town with her dad, she didn't want to go and not see her child. So she'd rather just hang back with everybody else and continue the bonding that they've been doing, I suppose. But yeah, girl. What else did she talk about? She was asked about let me go back. She says that Chelley dragged out the issue when it came to her and Ace. She says she made things seem otherwise, and now everybody's ganging up on her. And I said, this is nobody but your fans talking, making you feel like you're justified. Okay? Now, even if I felt like Chelley was getting on my nerves a little bit, I still feel like you weren't fully justified when you got all these people saying you did too much. Right? So she was asked about that heart rate challenge, y'all, and she downplayed it. She downplayed it at first and said she did something to everyone. She says, the thing I did to Jeremiah when I act like I was licking him from his private parts up, she said I did that to all of the guys. So I didn't really do anything different to anybody. So when the girl asked, the host was like, so it's been this rumor going around where people believe that you put your pussy on his face. And she sat up there and said, no, she started laughing. The camera wasn't on her face at first. And she said, why are you looking at me like that? Why are you doing that? So then put the camera on her. And she was like, no, I'm just saying it's funny. Like, I didn't do that, though. I didn't do that. She denies putting her cootie twat on this man's face. And I said, but your boy Chris just confirmed that you did in the last interview, right? You do know that Taylor and Clarke also said that that's what you did, right? Child. Y'all make sure y'all liking up the video, honey. Make sure y'all liking it up. But yeah, so that's crazy. This right here, to sit up there and blatantly lie. Now, if they show the uncensored version at the reunion, and you did put that cootie twat on that man's face, that's not nice, girl. Because everybody's saying you did. Now, either you lying or they lying. Right? And I feel like when Chris said it, it was like, one, he's been taking the high road to me most of the interview when it came to Huda. Then he don't really got no allegiance to Ace and Chelley when he literally just sat up there and said he felt like Huda did nothing wrong. He said, I don't feel like Huda did nothing wrong, because we asked everybody about their boundaries. Nobody said they had an issue, so what's what? Like it is what it is. But then he also, although he felt like you did nothing wrong, he still confirmed that you put your pussy on his face. So, with that being said, I just don't see him lying when he literally just had your back in the same sentence. Oh, girl. Okay. So then she also reiterates why she didn't want to kiss Chris in public. She says she said because everybody has had opinions. And I clocked that. If you was watching my reviews, I said it's not making sense that we're still talking about you not wanting to kiss Chris when everybody in the villa at this point knows. You've talked to Amaya, you've talked to Iris. I think she talked to Olandria. He's talked to Ace, talked to Brian. Like everybody in the villa know what's going on. So why we not kissing? Because you're not attracted. That's what it is. Because why are we not kissing? Why are we not kissing? Everybody know what's going on. So she says the reason why was because Chris would be doing extra stuff. All right, that made her not want to kiss him. She says he had a wandering eye. Girl, I'm gonna have to clock. I have to clock it. Listen, ma'am. You brought this man over knowing he had an interest in Chelley. I feel like you still had a wandering eye towards Pepe, Miss. I'm surprised nobody wanted to kiss me in the challenge. Oh, why do you say that? Oh, because we're still open, remember? So how is the eye wandering if it's open? Let you tell it. Yeah, nada. Give me another excuse. So she says he would have cute nicknames for the other girls. And Nick Olandria called Nick Nicky Poo. Like, how? And she didn't even see it to the end. Did you want to? So, that's what it is. When he gave Chelley the pancakes, and then you saw that he gave other people names, you wanted the extra pancake and a nickname, and he didn't give you one. That's what was going on. Okay. She said he told her to shut up. Now, y'all correct me. This is where the host says, oh my God, he told you to shut up like so much. And I said, did he? I remember one time we was doing a doggone challenge thing with the baby and he said, shut up. But did he say it more? Because I don't remember. Or am I recalling it right that he didn't? He told you to shut up so much. So what? It's the shut up in the room? I don't know what the fuck that was about, ma'am. I don't know what you were on in that moment. So Huda excuses her actions, saying that saying mean things to him is just pretty much saying, when I say this or that, it's just, that, like, if you know me, like, that's just my personality. That's just how I am. And that's what I was telling y'all earlier in the video, where when other people do it, they're doing this as a harm to somebody else, or you did this because you wanted to da-da-da-da. But when it comes to her, it's that's just how I am. Okay. It can't be that's just how it is. Okay. So she says that he wouldn't give her much attention because he would have his focus on other women. I'm hollering. And if that's true, I feel like that's messed up because you also are the same person that would like to be chased by Chelley, sir. And she ain't got no option. She trying to give you, well, shit, I take that back. I was going to say she tried to give you some attention, but the fact that she wasn't willing to give him PDA, he probably did start exploring other options of people that may be interested in him like that. So she says that, oh, this is where I was like, the host is killing me the way she's creating these stories. She says that Chris told everybody in the villa that you guys were having sex. Like, he went around and he told everybody, that you guys were having sex. And I said, I thought he just told Brian. And Huda said, yeah, he was over there telling people like, yeah, I had sex with this girl. She's so bad. That's not what he said. That's not what we saw. When you said she's so bad, why did that take me back to the moment that you talked to Chris and said, I mean, would it be like this if I was ugly? For me, that just further confirms to me that whole thought of believing that you're a preference, and when somebody else is chosen over you, you get sick about it. Just a little piece. But okay. Then I said, Huda is now trying to say he barely got the head in. I said, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is why I can't stand. I can't. I can't. And it's not even the stand with a D. It's just stand. I can't stand. I can't do it. You did the same thing with Jeremiah. I mean, it wasn't even like we got it in like that. Well, what did y'all do? Now here you are saying that Chris didn't, he barely got the head in. And it wasn't because I couldn't take it. Believe that. Ma'am, y'all hunched on more than one occasion. And if it wasn't like that, why is you tapping him on his shoulder? Want him to cater to you? Because this the last day. What's going on with that? That's crazy. He barely got the head in. But y'all hunched on more than one occasion. We're not gonna rewrite that history, okay? Then I said, y'all, mind you, he took the high road with this interview. To me, I feel like he took the high road with the interview. They talked about him mentioning his high moments in the villa and never mentioning her as one of them. And she says it was just another way for her to, another note that she made for her to know that he doesn't like her, pretty much. And she just would put it in the back of her mind. Right? They talk about the nighttime when the cuddling happened. And she did the whole countdown. She says, he was never asleep. He was never asleep. You know, he was just ignoring me. Girl, even if he wasn't asleep, that's his wind down time. And I just feel like he don't got to roll over for you. You ain't his wife. Like, what? And she tells us, so yeah, I just feel like you're going to act like that, then I'm going to treat you like a kid. 1, 2, 3, 2. Like, what? Again, further showing that there really is not growth. What there is a perception of growth of what she wants y'all to believe. Fans, the same way she did with the people in the villa. I want them to think that I'm growing because I'm not kissing you, but I'm fucking you at night where can't nobody really see and we under the covers and shit. Like, she's really pulling a facade over y'all and like she was doing the people in the villa. And that's just what it is. So what else did she say? She said she brought it up. She said, I had been telling him already what I wanted him to do, you know, and there were things that I wanted, like cuddle me and stuff. Like, there was things that I wanted. He tried to pretend that he was sleeping stuff, you know. I mean, yes, I know I should have left it alone or whatever, but like, we had already had that conversation of the things that I want. And this is another reason why she will never be a reasonable partner for me, in my opinion, okay, for me. I feel like she would never be a reasonable partner because it's always about what you want. It's all about what you want. This man brings the conversation to you about PDA, and then you have the audacity to tell him why you further are not going to do it, double down on it. And then what did she do? She turned around and said, can you give me more attention in the mornings? Can you like talk to me more? Can you do this? Girl, that's PDA, if you ask me. You want what you're not trying to give. What else? Okay, yeah. So Chris, they brought up the fact that Chris's alleged ex says he has a track record for being cold and passive aggressive. This I can believe. I can believe that. Because I told y'all towards the end, I just felt like, you know, you're attracted to emotionally unstable women because you are emotionally unstable. So they speak on the I'm not carrying you part. She says that she told him she will walk herself. Why are you even here? So when he walked off on her, turned around, came back, he was going to help her down because that's what he said. And Chris also told us that she said she didn't want that. I said something must have happened for him to just drop his hand like and shrug his shoulders like that. And she said, she was like, then why are you here? Like, nah, I don't want you to walk me out. Period. And then she said it was glass. It may have been glass and all kind of dirty things and stuff that were down there. And I didn't want to put my feet in there because I didn't know what was down there. But you still put your feet in there and walk through it. You thought that you were going to be able to put a pity patter face on him some tears and thought that was still gonna make that man carry you? Again, trying to manipulate. Yes, trying to control. 1000%. Weaponizing is what you were doing, and it didn't work. Um, Thank you so much for the super chat. California Cutie is sending you some love for your review, Jamie. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So she also said she talked about let me go back. So she says she tried to have a civil conversation with him and then says that she was told that it was the most mature conversation that she's ever had. And I said, well, that says a lot. If that's the most mature conversation that you've ever had, that means you still have a lot of growing to do. And I said, knowing you have always handled situations poorly pre-villa, you still spent most of this interview saying things were other people's fault. Girl, a joke. She also says Nick wanted to vote her off so much. Was him being she felt like he was being influenced by other people because he wanted to vote her off a lot. Oh, it was the other people. It was them. They were getting in his head. No, baby, Nick didn't want you there because that's what Nick wanted. All them other folks kept standing behind you and saving your ass, honestly. And that was pretty much that. Okay. That was pretty much the whole 2-hour interview and everything that they talked about. Okay. So it was cool for what it was. We'll see how this reunion is going to go. I don't know if they're gonna reference any interviews and stuff that she may have done at this reunion. I wonder if there's just gonna be one reunion or if they're gonna try and do like a part 2 or if they just gonna give us like a 2-hour reunion. But I wonder if they're gonna reference some of these interviews and stuff. We shall see. Well, that's really all that I got with Huda. Okay. That's all that I got. Yes, not surprised Amaya and Huda are close. Amaya will now give her more tools to gain sympathy and flip it on their victims. Yikes. You know, I have been seeing some people say that Amaya and Huda have similarities, is what people have been saying. I think they were saying the difference was that Amaya has been more likable or something like that. So people are definitely out here comparing the two. But I just wanted to come give you guys the quick rundown of everything that took place. And that's crazy. Who want her dead, Nick? Who wants Huda dead? Who said that? Who said that, girl? Not they want the girl for dead. Y'all just be coming in here saying anything, huh? Just be getting down in the comments saying anything, knowing that ain't nobody say that. When a person say they don't like somebody or they don't agree with their ways, y'all be like, oh, you hate the person. Now, how did we jump all the way to there? Well, no, that's not how we're talking. That's not how we're talking, Nick. How we're talking is holding her accountable for the bullshit that she's saying, which is something that your fans, which is you, her fans, you don't do. And the thing is, we don't agree. But who would want her dead? You mean how a lot of her fans were wishing death on Chelley over there in her comments and in her DMs? You mean how her fans went over there and hacked into Olandria's TikTok and put their face on 2 different images, a video that's very traumatic to the Black community? Bitch, is you okay? Is you okay? Can't be. Can't be. You better be glad I'm just not seeing your comments and I'm getting done with this review. Because I don't give a damn how you feel. All right. So if you feel like it is what it is, whatever you think you're right. Because I'm damn sure not here to change your mind. I'm here to say what it is that I have to say. Because that is what it is that I can do. Okay. So you can hop down in the comments once this video is over and the people will continue to whack you accordingly. All right. Oh, I'm great, honey. I'm great. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm good. The most I can tell you is or what. The only or what would be that or you will be blocked. You'll still come back and tune in because that's just what you do. But that's the only or what for me. It is what it is. So, oh, and then what? Well, boo, let me tell you, girl. I'm gonna tell you what the and then what is. Give me 1 second. Cause the and then what is I'm still gonna get paid. That's the and then what that I need you to understand on today. And not tomorrow. I'm still gonna get paid. And then what? And then I'm gonna get paid. And then I'm gonna be on to Beyond the Villa. Then I'm gonna be on to Love Island Games. Then I'm just gonna be on to the next time. And it's still not gonna change a damn thing that I said about your girl. So what else is happening on today or tomorrow? And let me tell you another thing about the and then what? And then Huda gonna know me before she know you. Think about that. She damn sure gonna know me before she know you. And probably watching now, hey girl. Hey. Yikes. Well, as you continue to be upset on the sideline, Bookie Dookie. Girl, I'm finna go on about my day, child. Go ahead and play with my little Tookie Wookie, my little kid. Live my life. When you are ready to talk that shit from behind a hidden profile and hop in my DMs, I will be prepared to whack at any moment. Okay? Love you guys so much for being here. Love it, love it, love it, love it. And please make sure that you're liking the video and also subscribing to the channel. I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters, I'm silent, nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification, them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cashed out at the ATM, and the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATF, got them trying to clone me like Agent Smith. Game time, I invaded gym, high elevated, I could face the rim, putting shots up. I got laser focus, about to take it over.